All right, so this next question comes from Wayne on Discord. It is a TradingView specific question, but I just want to mention it. Someone was asking, why would an alert show in my TradingView alerts log, but not on my chart? And so this can happen for multiple different reasons. I believe in this circumstance, they were using a Renko chart, so a non-standard chart. And so it's unreliable how your strategy is going to plot on non-standard charts. But you can also have situations where your strategy is repainting. And so that the alert should fire, but then when the strategy gets recalculated on the chart, it's not showing up. And you also have issues where someone will create an alert, but and then they'll modify their strategy, but they'll forget to update the alert. And so the alert is still firing based on the code that was duplicated on the TradingView cloud. And they're not like paying attention to that because they made one small modification and they thought it would propagate. So that can happen as well.
Yeah, the repainting, it didn't make a sense to me until I fully understood that in TradingView, a strategy is basically running in kind of two different contexts. You have one context where it's basically streaming the real-time live data from the exchanges, and the strategy is in real time calculating calculating everything as the data is coming in. And then the backtest is basically running against the historical data, and you can have subtle differences between those contexts. So you could have a scenario where it shows up on the chart afterwards, but didn't trigger in real time, or the reverse. So whenever you see something like that or something inconsistent, it's like most of the time repainting.
Yeah, it's best to use the bar replay to go through and watch at least 2 to 3 dozen trades to make sure that as you increment each step of the way, the alert for your trade doesn't show up and then suddenly disappear. That's the repainting process that we're talking about, where we expect that when alert triggers that it remains that way and it never disappears for any reason.
Does the bar replay do tick by tick now, or is it still rolled up?
Snapshots.
Okay.
It's still, it's not tick by tick, but it'll take, I think, 2 to 3 moments within that bar, and it does show up for a moment. Like as you advance to the next bar, you'll see that one slice of the data within that bar shows up, and then all of a sudden it finishes. So it's not like perfect, but it's giving you some intra-bar data.
Okay. And the live, like forward running version is tick by tick, like it's as the data is coming in.
Okay. It's matches, yeah.
They don't do any kind of roll ups in real time or anything.
No. Not that.
But that's where you get the benefit also with the deep back testing. I believe I don't know if it's pro or premium plans. That's testing on the 1 minute data.
Which is rolled up. It's still not tick by tick.
Yeah, it's still not. Yeah, exactly. But when I'm testing a strategy, let's say on a daily, and then maybe there's 3 snapshots for that candle, where it'll say that the entry happened or the exit happened will be different versus if I did a deep back testing, it might be more granular. So that's nuances of the TradingView platform.
There's one thing that is probably a good conversation to have that I don't fully understand either is, if you're running, say you're running a strategy on the 1 minute chart and it's a super low volume ticker, if a 1 minute candle closes and there are no matches that come in after that candle closes, will that alert, like if you had something, say, to just trigger an alert on every minute, just hard coded every minute, if there were no matches, would it not trigger that alert until the next match comes in? Or like, what would be the behavior? Because
it'll only trigger on if you did something on bar close.
Right,
or
but
bar
does it
open.
consider it a close if there's no match at the next
bar? What if there are matches up until the 59th second? And then there are no matches until 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Will that alert come in on 1 minute and 15? Because I've seen some, I think it was Ezra Coper, one of the guy who he comments on our YouTube a lot. He was testing the delay between TradingView and TradersPost. And when he has alerts set up on tickers on a really low time frame, the alerts are delayed by quite a lot. But I've never experienced that, but I'm always running it on stuff like SPY, Qs, and he was running it on a crypto ticker. And I was wondering if that could potentially be caused by just low liquidity.
I would have to assume that it's event driven, so it's waiting for the match before it makes any calculations. I don't think the bars are time bound, because they're, in many cases, especially in low liquidity crypto pairs, there, if there is no match, that bar doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
You know,
I've
there might be
seen.
like 2 hour periods
Right,
where the bar there that jumps from one time to the
right.
next. So yeah, I would have to assume it's event driven, which would mean that the bar isn't considered closed until the next match of the next bar comes in.
Okay, that's good to know, because I think that I've seen that happen where people expect the alert to always trigger like exactly at the bar close, but
Right.
it's delayed sometimes because literally there have been no matches. But also, I think it can be delayed in other scenarios, like if you know if there were like a 3 or 4 second blip in
Mhm.
the data feed coming into TradingView, that's another reason why it could come in slightly after the minute that you expect it to come in.
Particularly if it's event driven. Yeah. I think that's my hunch, because we hear a whole lot of that, where if there's a delay in that way, there's a delay in the alert. So it's got to be event driven, match driven, if you will.
Right.
There has to be a trade in order to trigger the logic of the next bar.
Right. And I think also another interesting thing to understand about how TradingView works is like the alerts and the webhook sending are two separate like queues. They're different lines. And like
Hmm.
you have one system that's running the strategy and it's triggering these alerts and it records it in the alert log. But then the webhook sending goes into another queue after the alert actually triggered and went into the alert log. And I've seen scenarios where when TradingView's webhook queue gets backed up, um, you'll see many webhooks fire all at the same time that should have been sent, 2 or 3 seconds apart.
Right.